Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning and about, 7:45 in the morning, and this grieving business, my grief is like no other. It isn't like the books say it is. It's my grief and the strange things happening to my body. For the first 5 days after Alfie died on the 22nd of August, first 5 days I stayed in bed. Only got out of the bed to go and make a cup of tea or go to the bathroom. I showered only twice. For a month, over a month, I've had problems with my digestive system. I've had the diarrhoea. I hadn't wanted to eat. In the first couple of weeks, I lost a stone in weight. I'm going the other way now and eating lots of chocolate, which is upsetting my stomach also. I'm feeling things. Lying in bed last night, I felt that somebody was lying next to me, and I thought, because I've often felt my dog since she died, I've often felt her around me, but this was different. This was somebody pushing into the pillow next to me. I know it's grief. I know it's all illogical, but it's my grief. Anyway, I've been up most of the night. I've showered. Just wanted to show you a few things. This quilt my daughter's made for me. She's so clever. All patchwork. She's done it out of fat quarters that you buy, and old tablecloths and lace at the side. It's absolutely beautiful. And on the reverse of it, again, is different material and green silk and lace. So she made that for me, and I just thought it was so precious. Didn't really want to take it off her, but I love it. And she's got another one which was for her dad, and she's keeping that for herself. So I'll show you that, and I'll take you in and show you something else I bought. My room's quite neat and tidy. See, I haven't been idle. This room, yeah, my eldest son is coming today, and I guess he's going to pack some more of those records in the big boxes, because he's taking all of Alf's records. They're all Elvis. Some of them are quite valuable. So my son's having all of those, and he's got the proper boxes, or I've got the proper boxes for him to take them in. So he's packed a couple. He hasn't had the heart to do any more, but his dad would want him to have them and to look after them. I bought myself, as a little girl, I always wanted a doll's house. And I bought myself one. It's actually got lights and everything. Let me show you properly at the moment. But it's got lights to go in, and I get sort of the adapter out, and I just think it's really nice. It's like, what would you say it was? Georgian, and all the little tiles, individual tiles on the roof. So I love it. I'm quite pleased with that. As I say, I always wanted a doll's house when I was a little girl. And now I've got one. And my friend Avril likes it as well. So if you're watching the video, Avril, you can come round and play. We'll play. We'll be young mummies again like we were. Avril and I brought our children up together. And she's my oldest and dearest friend. So, just going to show you what I've been doing. I have been busy. This stew, lentil stew, went on at 2 o'clock this morning. That's been cooking for, and it's now 8:20. So it's been cooking for almost 6.5 hours, and I like it to do for about 10 hours. And the longer the better, and it's beautiful. It's got lots of garlic in, lots of spices, and what else has it got? Lentils, red lentils, split peas, carrots, parsnips, onions, obviously, tomatoes, all sorts. So that's when my son comes. I shall we'll be sitting at our big table and eating the stew. It's a picture of in Stratford-on-Avon when we went to Stratford-on-Avon, and that's I took the picture, Alfie, and our eldest son, Alan, and our granddaughter, Grace, our eldest granddaughter. We've got 2. I need to get some more photograph frames. And here we are. That's what I showed you, the holograph with Alf and me on our wedding day. I've got that picture on the wall here, actually. I just think that's lovely. This figurine here, I bought for Alf. I bought all the kids one with parents and a baby, and I got that one for Alf. And I decided not to put that in. I put a woman figure, being me, with a bunch of forget-me-nots, which went into the casket with him. On the 30th of September, it was my birthday, and it was also the 40th day of Alfie's passing. And I know that some cultures put a lot of emphasis on the 40th day and pray and do chanting and stuff. And I did pray, and I do pray every day. And I did say to the priest who did the funeral service, how do you pray? Because I remember a YouTuber on here saying something like, and he's considered himself a preacher and talks about the Bible a lot. And he said a lot of people don't know how to pray. Well, I don't know how to pray. How do you pray? And if it's to your Father, God in heaven, would you be formal? Would you need to be formal? Can you not just speak from your heart what you feel? All the grief, all the confusion, all the anger, all the frustration, all the guilt, the remorse. Can you not just talk about these things honestly, in your own words? Because that's what I've been doing. Don't know that it's helped at all. I don't know that anything will help. I was 71 on Wednesday, on the 30th, and I've been with Alf since I was 15, and we got married when I was 16, and that man saved me from a life of misery, a life of abuse. I'd come out of care and gone back to live with my mum, who wanted me working clearly straight away so she could have my money. And I remember going on a Friday to a place where my sister worked, a factory, to see if they'd got any vacancies, because she said that they had. Didn't know what I was going to do. And the old man, well, he seemed old at the time, who interviewed me, there was no real jobs available, but he interviewed me and he was lovely. And he said to me, no, he said, you don't, a girl like you doesn't want to go and work in a factory. Come and work as our office junior. And I did. I went there and I worked as the office junior. And that was on the Friday morning. He said, when can you start? I said, no. So I started there, and then when I went back home to my mum's, she said, where have you been? And I said, I've been to work. I was so proud of myself. And also on that day when I was at work, I had to walk through the factory floor to somewhere, and my sister was there on the assembly line, and she looked again, and couldn't believe her eyes that I'd gone and I'd gotten this job, and I was just, this man gave me a good start. And I don't know, I do know, excuse me a second, what made me leave there. I do know. It was because my mother wanted more money. And I think at the time I was earning the equivalent of about £2.50, which is what, about $40 a week. And my mum took £2 of that £2.50. And left me with very little. So I left. I went and I got a job at Joseph Lucas, which was one of the biggest employers at the time in Birmingham. And that's where I met Alf. Fated, you see. It was fated. We've had a good life. It hasn't been perfect. We originally wanted 5 children. We had 3. And the reason for that was I'd gone and I'd done Open University. I'd gone to college. I got qualifications. I was the bee's knees, top of the class, blah, blah, blah. And so I was forging ahead with a career, and I concentrated on that, and I was foolish and I was wrong, and that regret will stay with me for the rest of my life. I even went to work in the Middle East. Almost 2 years. I was back home every 3 months. By that time the kids were all grown, 20 odd, but still Alf didn't want me to go, and he conceded in the finish that, yeah, it's only for a while and you'll be back and blah, blah, blah. But I shouldn't have gone. I should have stayed home. We should have had those other 2 children. And I can even see the place where we should have been living, which we could have bought. We had the names chosen. Had we had, because we've got 2 boys and a girl, it was boy, girl, boy, Alan, Donna and James. And if we'd have had another two, if it had been a girl, it was going to be Deborah. And then the other child, whether a boy or a girl, was going to be called Terry with an I. With an I if it was a girl, with a Y if it was a boy. So we had it all chosen, and I just went, and my mother said at the time that she's ruining her life. I didn't ruin my life, I didn't. But in another way, I did, because it wasn't the life that we originally set out to have. And I was stupid. So stupid. So much regrets. And that's also part of my guilt. I have a lot of guilt. Not guilt I want to go and talk to somebody about. It's in my core. And I have a lot of love for that man. Which grew, even as Alfie became more and more poorly with the Parkinson's and the Lewy body dementia, even as he became more and more ill and not recognising people. He always seemed to recognise me. Even if he didn't speak, he would pat me, rub my arm. He knew it was me. They call it, Alf had the double whammy. He had both Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia, and the neurologist said Alf was one of a very small pocket of people who had gone this far along and fought it for so long. It was 25 years. Very strong, determined man. And it wasn't that killed him. It was heart failure. Heart failure due to dehydration, due to neglect in the Methodist nursing home where he was at, because I wasn't going in every day, and I forecast that this would happen because the carers were cavalier, and they had carers from Acton Bank Nursing Agency, and the one on that Saturday that Alf died turned up 45 minutes late. So somebody should be with Alf every minute. Whether they were, I don't know. But I do know that when I was there, and it was usually of a Saturday that they were late, I've gone in and I found Alf on his own because the carer hadn't turned up. And of course I sat with him, and there was numerous occasions when I caught that Alf was dehydrated, and they did his blood pressure had dropped. They got the paramedics. They didn't notice it. I did. And my eldest son said, "Mum, you kept Dad alive." So many near misses. And I did. And because of COVID-19, I couldn't effing well go in to see him. And the nursing staff let us down. His nails, when we went to the hospital and he was dying, do you know what I was doing? I was cleaning behind his ears where all the soap had congregated, where he hadn't been rinsed properly. I was cleaning his ears that were full of wax. His fingernails were long and ragged. We only saw him twice in 3 months due to the COVID situation. And even then, it was ringing in advance to book, and we were only allowed half an hour outside. And I picked up then, he needs a haircut, he needs his face washed, he needs his nails done. Methodist Nursing Home, Kingfisher Methodist Nursing Home in Birmingham, are responsible for my husband's death. there's no point in my fighting and arguing any longer because Alf's gone. My youngest son has written to the head office. They've done their own investigation. They've investigated themselves and found themselves not culpable. No evidence. And my son said, phone the funeral director. When Alf went there and they cleaned Alf and washed him and did his nails, I went in to dress him. Phone the undertaker, they'll tell you. Kingfisher Nursing Home phoned my son on that Saturday morning at almost midday and said that Alf was non-responsive when they went to get him up. And the nurse had phoned the paramedic, phoned the hospital, paramedics told her to do CPR till they got there. He was taken to hospital. By the time we got there, the doctor came in to see us and said that the next 24 hours are vital, critical. Next 24 hours. He's breathing on his own now. We've spoken to the other team, and with Alf's condition, Parkinson's, Lewy body, dementia, blah, 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 heart condition, we're not going to put him on a ventilator. Had they put him on a ventilator, I believe he would have survived, but they didn't. And my reaction to that was, so you don't think he's worth saving? Because he's got all these problems, he's precious to us. They did this with my mum, saying there'll be no heroics, giving her more and more diamorphine till she passed. They left Alfie. They did nothing. Next 24 hours are crucial. And I feel guilty again because I was holding Alfie's hand, stroking his hair, cleaning his ears, kissing him, loving him. One tear came out of his eye. One tear. And I said, Alfie, you're crying. I said, don't cry. And I kissed his tear away. My daughter, my son and his partner, my eldest son, my grandson, myself. We were all there when Alfie passed. Another doctor came in and said again, the next 24 hours are going to be critical. And she went out, and Alfie suddenly opened his eyes, his beautiful blue eyes, wide open, as though he was there. Everything was working, and he opened his eyes and he struggled for breath. And I went to the door and I said, he's in trouble, can you come in? And one of the nurses came in and he did it again. And she said, this happens when they're about to pass. I said, but he's not. I've been told the next 24 hours. Alfie was gone within 15, 20 minutes. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know whether to move house. This is too big for me. I don't know whether to, I don't know what to do. Because if there's one thing I've learned in life is that whatever you do, you can't run away from your feelings. You can't run away from your problems. You can't run away, in this case, from your grief. I have to somehow get through it, come to terms with it. I know what Alf would have wanted. He'd have wanted me to live for our children and our grandchildren and live a good, decent life and be strong. I don't feel strong. The grave where Alf is buried, it's where I shall be buried also with him. And I'll show you. I've been looking at headstones and I found one that I like. Well, I found two that I like particularly. That one. There are two hearts and a lily. At the moment, Alfie has a wooden cross with just his name and his age up there. I bought some pots with one pot with husband, one pot with dad and stuff, and plants and silk flowers for outside. But I want to get this, if that's the one I'm having, but I don't want the black granite. I want it's like, this is it, I think. Should have sorted this out before it came on. Anyway, it's like a swirly. It's this colour, the brown colour, but it's like swirls, and it's absolutely beautiful. So that's the colour that I want. But I do think I'm going to go for that headstone. There was another one. I don't want a book because everybody seems to have books. Isn't it strange looking at headstones for Alf and for me, for both of us? It's weird, isn't it? There's these, which are beautiful, but then you have to think, and my son said, you know, sometimes you can get vandals in the churchyard and they might be tempted to go and break, this is the colour, go and break the figurine off. That's the colour, the middle one. And those are the hearts. So what I want to do, we've noticed that when my sister-in-law passed, and she has a small headstone up now that my son organised, she her grave was all settled within 6 months. So I'm thinking that with this COVID business and everything, we've got the cross up, we've got flowers there. I wouldn't have just left it bare. So I'm thinking to order it and have it, the headstone placed there for Alf's birthday on the 8th of May. And, you know, have a little gathering of just us, just immediate family. Anyway, I've spoken enough, I think, on this video, and I can smell that stew cooking. It's beautiful. I'm going to go and have some breakfast now, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.